All right. And here we are in the other hood. It's Penelope Flynn and the remainder of the Blerdsassins Next Door. And we are here at this last show of 2023. We got James and Otto and Roxanne. Sonia is going to be here in a second. She had to go out and try to work with her background a little bit. But this has been, a really, I guess, hectic. I feel like we were just here. I mean, it was just, this week has passed quickly. And of course, what we like to do is start with the weather. So, James, how are things in New York City?
Okay, right now in New York City it's 42 degrees. It's mostly cloudy. Um, I don't know. Today the weather was kind of bipolar. First it was cloudy, then it was sunny, and it's going back and forth. So right now it's just a little chilly.
Did you have to get out in it today?
No, hopefully, like I said, I got to get outside tomorrow to get to the pharmacy before it closes early.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody's got to hurry up. And we'll talk about that even to our New Year's Eve rituals and traditions as well. And Roxanne, I don't know, where are you still in Maryland or where are you now?
Oh yeah, I'm back
Okay.
in Baltimore. I was at my parents' house for almost 2 weeks, um, taking care of that damn bougie mutt. And my parents will be 90 and 24.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean it's overnight is fine, 2 nights, but longer than that, I we really feel uncomfortable leaving them,
Mm,
especially since my mom has Alzheimer's. So yeah, I was there, and to take care of the bougie mutt.
oh
That's what
my
my
goodness.
father calls him, Kelly and her bougie dog. He's a pain, just a pain. In fact, the screen on my iPhone is cracked because of him.
Oh my God.
What?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was lying down listening to some music. He jumped on me. I startled. The phone slipped off my stomach onto the floor. Just
Wow.
like, thank you. Anyway, but yes, I'm in Baltimore now. For the nonce. Um, the weather here was pretty much like New York, cloudy, about 1 degree warmer, um, kind of damp out, you know. And but the good news is that it's not supposed to rain for a while. My
That's good.
God, we've been having these storms that just it's like what? It's December. Um,
Yeah.
and we've been having them back to back, which is like, I mean, 10, 20 years ago, it never rained,
Mm-hmm.
the last half of November until April. And now, well, I guess climate change is messing with the weather.
Yep. Yep. And
So anyway, but yeah,
this is decent weather. It's not great, but it's decent.
well,
Just,
yeah, I mean, it could be worse. It could be snow and ice.
yes, that's true. True.
Yeah.
Are you getting snow and ice, Sonia?
It's flurried today, but nothing that's stuck. But it's right at freezing. So, if precipitation happens, it's bound to happen any minute now.
Wow, wow. So have you been out in it or are you just kind of relaxing and staying indoors?
We went out after it flurried. So after it and it got cold. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
32 right now. So I don't know what the wind chill is though.
right. Okay, Otto?
Well, first of all, I want to say regarding the bougie mutt in Baltimore, I was not in Baltimore. Just want to make sure everybody knows. The
You see
weather,
that? He's back.
eh, the weather today was I don't know because my partner wouldn't allow me outside of the house, so I think it was sunny, kind of cloudy.
Look, I wasn't going out. I'm sorry. I got up this morning. I looked at the weather. The temperature is at 31 degrees. Nope, I'm not. I mean, I think I left. my room to go to the bathroom and the kitchen. That's it. No running around. I'm not playing around with this kind of weather. It's just I can't deal with that all that kind of cold. Tomorrow I have to get out in it, but today I didn't have to, so I did not. So yeah, you can keep this. I mean, maybe for you it's normal, but not for me, man. And thank goodness I got a pair of Uggs because the floor is cold. And I'm used to walking around without shoes on, and so Otto said, "Here are some Uggs for you." So now I have Uggs to walk around in with this cold, cold floor.
Apparently, people from the South are used to walking around barefoot.
Hey, it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's what we do. So yeah, I see Cranston's just logged in. I can see his background, but I can't see anything else. I don't think he's all the way in yet. Almost all the way in. Because I would love to know if Atlanta is getting cold, and that I mean Jacksonville's that getting cold.
Yeah,
Like
Atlanta was supposed to be down to about freezing too
yeah,
today. My
yeah,
friend called yesterday. She goes, "It's cold."
yeah. Because I know my sister was saying that it was gonna get cold there. And but see, I'm shocked. We haven't gotten any real precipitation this time of year, at least. Well, I guess January. I guess when we get some snow, I think it would have been nice. But we're not. I'm not begging for it. It'll be okay, but I'm not begging for any. All right. I guess Cranston. Can you hear us, Cranston?
I think that's a yes.
I don't know.
Sounds like he's getting his tater chips.
Sound like he's digging for change for the toll booth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just a lot of
Yeah, what's that?
yeah. Okay, I don't know what that is, but when he's ready, I'm sure he'll regale us with his weather report. But boy, can you believe it that we are back here again? Another year that we have made it all the way through, gotten stuff done, gotten stuff not done, reassessed where we want to be, um, all that stuff. And I mean, it's been, I mean, not, I mean, we came through, of course, the pandemic, a couple of years ago. Then also at the same time we were dealing with the Black Lives Matter movement, and anything that's happened in this past year is probably the down slope from all of that activity. But there's still a lot of stuff that happened in this past year that will shape where it is that we are moving into the future. I guess when we think about it, the most important thing that probably happens past year is that I got LASIK surgery. So,
She can see. She can
most
see.
important thing that happened in the past year
What is
for
that,
me.
Cranston busting through the wall there?
Yeah,
Yep.
there he goes.
Damn.
It's like
Kool
the
Aid
Hulk.
Man.
Oh,
He's
the
a
Kool-Aid. Yeah, that's good too. Better, better. Hey, what's going on, Cranston?
he's
He's
chewing.
he's
His
chewing.
mouth is full.
We
Okay.
really hit the wall with you.
Whoops.
Whoa,
He's
whoa, whoa. Oh, he unconnected.
yeah.
We
He.
had
I
to
think he
reconnect
just
again.
realized we could see
Then
you.
yeah, then we can see him. Okay, that's all right. Um, but I mean that was a big deal for me because number one, it was a weird thing, as well, because I did not know I had to get it done until I got it done. I'd been to the doctor because I need to get new contact lenses, and then they said cannot correct your vision anymore with contact lenses because you have got cataracts. And I did not know that. I mean, I knew that eventually, it's going to develop little, spotting here, but no. And said, nope, you need to get this taken care of. And what they do is they tell you you can either get like the surgery where they just go in and they take out the lens and then you wear glasses, or they will give you the one stitch surgery, or they give you the no stitch surgery with the premium lenses. And of course, no stitch surgery with the premium lenses is what I got, and it was something. It was for me. I've never had 20/20 vision before, so it's been quite an experience. Everything that I thought I saw that I did not really see. And it's really just regular everyday things have been just a revelation. So for me, that is my big 2023 story. You know. So anybody else got a big 2023 story?
I left Florida and then I left Georgia and now I'm in New York. The one place I said I'd never come back.
And look
Well,
at
not
Never,
you.
not New
never
York.
That's a
say
big
It's not
never.
New York,
story.
New York.
Never.
It's not
Well,
New York,
true.
New
I'm
York.
not.
It's
I'm not
Rochester.
in the city. I'm in
Yeah,
Rochester.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I
So
did say I
how
wasn't
many
coming back to visit.
miles? How many
Huh?
miles is that?
1,400, I think. Oh,
That
I'll
you
check.
drove 1,400
Yeah, because
miles?
I went from Tallahassee to Rochester because I had to pick up some stuff in Tallahassee.
Wow.
I'll find out and let y'all know. But yeah, I taught because my friend for 25 years, she's been trying to get me to move up here. Even tempted me with a friend that I hadn't. He was my dorm my dorm um manager,
Hmm.
and he's like, he's here too. And I said, nope, not coming, not coming. He leaves. I said, okay, I'll come. 1,229.5 miles according to Google, from
Wow.
Tallahassee to Rochester.
Wow.
Wow.
12, yeah. So it's almost 3,000, just over 1,200
200
miles.
miles. Wow. Well, I mean, having been in New York when you were young and then going, to Florida and then coming back now,
My
do you
blood thinned. That's the big thing.
Ooh.
I thought, because I put on weight. I discovered my body put on weight to deal with the cold, and I was like, no, and it did anyway.
Okay. Well, I was going to say you look like you lost.
Yeah, you can't see where the weight gain is.
Oh,
Kim's lost weight. My sister Hart.
hmm.
Yeah, but and I found it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the biggest change is my body change. That scares bejeebies out of me.
Spring's coming, so don't worry about it.
Well,
Spring's
no, I'm working on it now. And
Yeah.
then for those who don't know, we came up here to help a friend take care of her mom, and her mom died on Wednesday. So
Yeah.
now they're
Sorry to
letting
hear that.
us, yeah, they're letting us stay up here long enough to figure out our next move.
Well, you got a university system up there, right?
Yes, they do, and Kim's going to enroll, hopefully, creeping fingers crossed,
Mhm.
next month, and then I figure out what I'm doing.
All right. All right. Okay. So, I mean, I will ask you, Roxanne, what are your end of the year? What have you done all year? I mean, I know you just talked a moment ago about what you have been doing for the past couple of weeks, but for the entire year, I know you did a lot of stuff this year.
Well, I did get a lot of writing done. I'm about three quarters, maybe a little more than three quarters with Liberation, the third book in the Underground series, which I've only been writing for years. Um, but I think the biggest thing that happened to me is in this year is I dumped 15 grand into my house since July,
Wow.
and I ain't done
Wow.
because my house has decided to bankrupt me. Um, the water line broke in July. The water line,
Wow.
Yikes!
that was 10 grand.
Wow.
Um, then couple of them, the hot water tank blew, and I could not believe how expensive they are these days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I moved into this house, granted it was 20 years ago, but when I moved into this house, the first thing I did was replace the hot water tank. I think I paid about $600. This sucker was 2 grand.
Wow.
What?
It doesn't wash the dishes. It doesn't play fetch. It's like, what good is it?
Wow. Is it one of those
And
newfangled ones?
yeah, I guess. I mean, there are no diamonds on it. I mean, come on. And then with all of this rain that I mentioned, my my basement's always had. I mean, this is an old house. It's like 100. it's like 120 some years old.
Wow.
And there were some issues with the basement, but these past four rains, heavy rains back to back, I mean, it's like, oh no, we got to do something about this. So I've got a guy coming to. I got a guy who came today. He plugged up the holes on the outside of the house, and then he's coming back to do the inside.
Wow.
That wasn't as much as I thought. I was bracing. It wasn't as much as I thought. But basically, that's what my 2023 has been like. Every time I turn around,
Something with the house. I'm going to tell you,
something with
years
the
ago,
house.
we had the biggest problem. It was with our sewer line. Like every
Mhm.
year, the trees would break into the sewer line. So we had to, have the salt and stuff put in, and people to come in and try to, you know, what you call it, the
Mhm.
road rooter to
Mhm.
the sewer line. And ultimately, it just got to the point where the guy came in and put the camera down the line, show us what's going on, and he was just like, "This thing is gonna break. It is. It's." We're like, "Okay, great. How much it's gonna cost?" I mean, it's the amount he gave is like, well, why don't we just go out and just buy a new house? What the amount of money they said it was gonna cost. And eventually, it got to the point we couldn't hold off anymore. But technology had changed so much between the period when we first got, an estimate and when we ultimately had to do it. And the price was, I mean, like 1/5 of what the original price was, because they had the thing where they take it now and just pull it through the old
Right.
line. And what he
Right.
was saying though is that if this old line collapses, you're in trouble. So all we did is like cross our fingers until we could get the money together to get it done. But then once it was done, like no more problem. I mean, it had been such a problem for so long. It was shocking for it to no longer be a problem.
The water line was put in because now apparently they can just put a water line and they only have to dig two holes. Well, the water line to this house was so old, they had to dig the Marianas Trench in my front yard.
Yikes.
And I mean, I'm just looking at this. It's like, this is crazy. And they also found the original water pipe from when this house got running water in like 1910.
Wow.
Oh,
And because the guy said, yeah, I'm looking at this old screw pipe. I'm like, what the hell? That was the original when the water lines came out to the
Mhm.
county. That was the original water line they put in. They just left it. I thought, well, I guess they figured it's going to be underground. Nobody's going to care. But
Right.
yeah. So now the next time, hopefully I won't be here. The next time the water line breaks, they'll be able to just do the two hole thing. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome, next owner.
Make sure you
I'm,
include it in the price.
I'm still like, how come all this shit needs to blow up on my watch?
Yeah, exactly.
You just
Exactly.
bill the next person.
Yeah, you pay the next
Yeah,
person. Yeah.
yeah,
That's wonderful though that you're getting it done. Because I know that feeling. It's such a pain when it breaks down, but it feels so great when you get it fixed. And then
yeah.
it's like it's not like that's the problem with maintenance. It's not like it's like an add-on or anything. But what it's like is that it's just a thing that now is just normal. It's not.
Yes.
I mean, we had a car back in the day, not too many years ago, that the moonroof, sunroof got stuck, and it had like a thing it's supposed to drain. It wasn't draining properly, so anytime it rained, it's like you got to go outside of the car. Okay, you got like a cup to bail the water out of the car, in the front. If you park the car at an angle, it's the water's going to go down into the front of the car. You have to bail it out from under the front seat, the passenger seat and the driver's seat every time it rained. So yeah, and then when you get it fixed, it's not you gain anything. It's just now it's back to normal, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
So
still, it's like, I don't believe I went through all of this, you know, how many years, months, or whatever, when this is what I could have had all the time. I'm not going to be so stupid the next time, right?
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. All right. Well,
well, it got
Cranston.
nothing to do with you. That's the issue. It's like everybody love old houses. Our house is like 90 years old, so it's not as old as yours. But it's like, oh,
Hmm.
it's so quaint and nice. And
Yeah,
All the hidden stuff.
yeah. Until everything starts breaking down,
knob
and
and
everybody.
tube
Yeah.
wiring and
Yes,
plumbing.
yeah.
And
Our house still has places where there's knob and tube.
My house wasn't that old and it was starting to do all that. That's why I just let the new person, you deal with it. I'll even
Yeah.
lower the price. I don't care.
I realize every wall in this house is still plaster and lath.
So is ours. Ours is
And
plaster and lath.
I mean, it's just like, does anybody do plaster anymore unless they're like a restoration person?
Yeah, because the first thing they want to tell you is, "Oh, we'll put in some sheetrock." I didn't ask for sheetrock. Could you just redo the
Right,
plaster? You know, but yeah,
right,
it's very
right.
difficult to find someone who can do the plaster nowadays.
just
And that
restoration people.
can be
Hmm.
expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Expensive.
Because they don't teach it. So you have to find
No,
a
no,
artisan.
because I mean, sheetrock is great. I get it, and it's cheaper than plaster, and so on and so on. But if you got this old house and you got to pay a restoration guy, you know, four times the going rate, you
Yeah,
know,
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't Balmoral Castle, okay?
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Um,
They don't teach it in community colleges and in tech colleges anymore.
Nope, nope. You have to have again somebody who's been doing it in their family for the past 100 years
Yep.
in order to find
Right,
someone that can do it.
right.
That's why I hated when slavery was eliminated.
But
Okay.
bump.
Yeah. Okay. On a
Next.
roll. Cranston, we didn't get to ask you about your weather.
Uh, we're in the middle of the coldest part of the year. It's 43 right now. And it's going
Wow.
down, and I went outside and I got my pool, which was
And we lost him.
Yeah, yeah.
Comcast don't want him talking.
Right. We're at 54. I'm just getting my phone. It says 54 right now. Thank you.
That's not
So
cold.
yeah,
Nah,
yeah. No,
32.
ours is okay. Yeah, he said 42, 32.
Hmm. I'm at 32.
Wow. Yeah, but you're supposed to be. You're in Rochester.
But it
Supposed to be
was
colder than
60
that in
on.
Rochester.
It was on 60 at Christmas.
But that's nice. That's nice
But
Yeah,
that's how you
and
know the
then it
world
went.
is going to end. That's how you know the world's going to end right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, come on. Well, you know what? While we wait for Cranston, I guess say James. I know you've had a big full year. What was your 2023?
Uh, my 2023 was cheating death not once, not twice, but three times. So I'm
Still
happy
Three
here.
with
times.
that.
3 times a
Yeah,
lady.
yeah. I mean, the first time when I almost broke my neck falling down the subway steps. Then the second time I was choking on that situation with the metallic taste in my mouth. And then the third time was again with that metallic taste, and I had to go to the emergency room in Brooklyn because I couldn't breathe at work. So life has been great. Life was, pretty good this year
Well,
for me.
well, what did they say it was ultimately?
Nah, they still can't pinpoint what it was. I mean, it still flares up a teeny tiny bit every now and then. But actually, I had and see, that's another thing. I think I broke a record for doctor's appointments this year. Um, in fact, the last appointment I was supposed to go to, I couldn't because my back was messed up, and plus I was doctored out by today. Was tired of going to the doctor. But yeah, the last time was really bad because I couldn't breathe. I could barely call EMS on my phone, and they came and got me. And then I made the mistake of telling them, well, they said, where you want to go? I said, well, take me to Kings County,
That
which,
was a mistake.
yeah, that, I mean, as somebody that writes in the horror genre, I couldn't have did any better because I spent like almost 2 days in the emergency room.
Why'd you choose Kansas County?
because I didn't know any better because I'm not from Brooklyn.
Oh God.
And then it's like after I get out and I get back to work, people, I'm telling them what happened. They're like, "Oh, Kings County, the woman that's in charge of the tennis association." She's like, "Oh yeah, I remember. That's where my kids were born before it turned bad, before it broke
Yeah.
bad." And I didn't even know people. There's a kind of tradition of people dying in the emergency room there. So
Yeah, that's where they take people to die.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So
But
this
now
year,
you know.
Well, I
yeah.
mean, the thing is, they take people there to die, and you ask for it. So, wow.
No, I did. I did not know. I did not know if
They said, on your way there,
now.
could you stop? On the way there, could you stop at the cemetery, please?
Yeah. Now, if the situation ever arises again, they say you want to go to Kings County, I'm gonna be like, F no, no. And
No,
if
tell
you
them to take
if
you to
you,
Bellevue next time.
and if you ask me again, I'm gonna have you in Kings County. So yeah, this was the I guess this was the year that I replaced Kenny on South Park.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just incredible.
You
I
got to do a story, the man who cheated death.
Yeah,
3 times.
three
Again and
times.
again and again. Again and again
Again
and
and
again.
again. Captain Scarlet. Yep, pretty much. And that falling down the stairs, actually, I that was terrifying because I couldn't stop. The first flight, I'm like, okay. Then I just kept going. And then when I hit the platform, I'm upside down, and the conductor, she's looking out to the conductor booth. She just shrugged her shoulder like, yeah, well, you missed the train. Sorry, wait for the next train.
Yeah. Here's your transfer.
Mr. Glass. I think
Yeah,
Mr.
Here's your
Glass
yeah,
falling
you
down the
you try
stairs.
to do a
Yeah.
Sam Jackson impersonation. That's
Yeah.
what happened.
you know, yeah, I'm telling you. In fact, I kind of did a Samuel Jackson impersonation just yesterday because I stubbed my toe in the house, and I like, oh, 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 you know, I don't know. Um, it's just been a tough year physically.
Yeah, but the positive thing is that it can only get better, right?
As I said, I don't, I don't know.
Well,
Let's
Chris,
declare it. Let's declare it so.
yes,
It will get better.
it will get better.
It is going to be better.
Right, right, right. Well,
See,
Manifest
Cranston,
yeah,
manifest it now so that it
yeah.
happens.
yeah,
We
and
keep
see
talking to
here,
Cranston, asking Cranston about
he's
his weather, so we still haven't got him. Are you here back,
Yeah,
Cranston?
I'm back.
All right, there we go.
uh,
Yeah,
keep
As
breaking,
he's
breaking
breaking
through
through
that
the
wall.
break it
Yes.
out. Yes,
Breaking the
okay.
fourth wall. Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, what you started with your weather, and then we lost you.
Yeah.
How is the weather?
It is beginning the coldest part of the year. It's
Hmm.
right now it's 43. You can see your breath if you step outside. So I'm trying to stay inside.
Hmm.
But other than that, it's great.
Are you all expecting snow?
No, the last time it snowed here was in '89. So
Wow, that's a long time ago. You don't
we
get
get
snow a
hard
lot.
freezes and we
Hmm.
get frost warnings, but doesn't get snow very often.
Hmm.
Thank goodness,
Yeah,
because I can't get snow tires anywhere.
yeah. Well, that'd be a problem. Why not? Well, James is into his listing of everything that happened to him in the past year. We got fixated on his cheating death 3 times. So I'm sure there are other things beyond cheating death that you did this past year.
Um, other than cheating death 3 times,
Yes.
I guess it was again serious issues with my back. I had to go get because my spine is narrowing, they say, so I had to get steroid shots.
Mm.
But other than that, and getting accepted to a couple of anthologies, and
Yeah, that's good stuff.
yeah, but you know, listen, and see, here's the thing: people are, Friday at work, people saying, "Well, if I don't see you, Happy New Year." See, here's the thing: it's a new year, but we don't know if it's going to be happy because it's an election year. Think about it.
Good point.
It's an election year, and right now I'm with Otto. I'm very cynical and pessimistic about this coming year. I'm sorry.
Still think Santa's going to bring us our convictions.
That's
The
not going to matter.
convictions.
Yeah, but you know what?
We're
All we can
making
do
it.
is plan, for the stuff that we can control. That's all we can do.
Yep.
Exactly.
So, hmm
Yeah, that property in Panama starting to look real good now.
actually, I'm looking at Nevis and St. Kitts. That's you know,
Costa Rica,
yeah.
as long as it's
Belize.
not the U.S.
Belize. They
hmm
speak
So
English in
y'all
Belize
would leave the country simply because this maniac becomes president?
Mm.
because people will be hunted.
Well, you know what? We survived it one time, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to make plans to survive it a second. I had to get an exit strategy just in case.
That's right.
Yeah, I myself am looking north of the border, so
Yeah, yeah,
you know, I
I, for
mean,
one, welcome the chaos that will
of
come as a
course.
result.
More power to you.
Thank you.
All right. So, Cranston, I know we'll get to you now. What your year look like?
When last year or next year?
The last
20,
year.
2023.
Yeah, you're 2023.
2023, it started out nice and normal, and then the first half and the second half of the year became a never-ending soap opera. That if somebody had told me what I was telling them, I would be telling them what people are telling me. But it's over, so looking forward to 24.
I had no idea what you just said.
yeah, I know, I know.
No idea what that just meant.
Yeah, well, and that was how the year went. So yeah.
But
Oh,
what were your other than the thing that you just said that we don't understand what it was?
Hmm.
I know you had some things that happened, some big issues, good issues that happened in the year.
Yeah, but most of them are either under NDAs or the statute of limitations hasn't expired. But we'll just say, yeah, they went well.
Okay. Great. Great.
Sounds like Otto.
Yeah. Well, Sonia, I know you have some things like you said. You started out in Florida,
Uh
ended
huh.
up in Rochester. We had some other things that were going on during this period that you were, keeping tabs on. How did everything turn out?
Um, they're still developing. I'm trying to set up my own company to do something. I'm not sure quite yet what,
Mhm.
but I've decided that I'm taking back control. I'm not going to leave control up to other people. So tomorrow I sit down and I make my little plan and my little well, not little manifestation. Make my manifestations and then set my goals. So um I'm reminded that the last time I sat where I'm sitting right now, the chair collapsed under me, and then we found out that one of my mentors passed away. So I figured he was kicking me in the butt to tell me to get moving.
All right.
So I'm getting moving.
All right. All right.
I'm
Otto, how
looking at
about
the
you?
broken chair now, going, yeah.
All right. Just a reminder. So, Otto, how about you? What's your year been like?
Uh, Happily boring. So that's where I want it. Nothing happened. Nothing happens. The same thing happened last year and the year before that. And I got a notice from my student loans that I still got to pay those. Uh, Other than that, perfect. I'm
All
expecting
right.
more perfection in 2024.
More nothing.
more
Oh yeah.
confusion to make it perfect for you.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this is starting to sound like Seinfeld here.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
show about nothing.
if there's confusion, understand we've seen this show before.
Yes.
2024 is a repeat of
Yeah.
2020.
Yep.
Nobody should be surprised. We've seen this show.
hmm We like
We
this
know what's
show
going
though.
to happen.
We like this show.
No, we don't like this
Yeah, no
show.
laugh
That's why,
track though.
yeah, nobody to tell you when to laugh.
Yep.
No, no laugh track. Or
Well,
tell you when to
I'm.
cry.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's
Oh,
just kind of sad, that we're even considering these things. But I think this, I'm not going to go into this, the upcoming election because that's not positive things. I want to keep on positive things. Um, this year, I mean, other than the being able to see things now that I never knew kind of existed, um, I at least got some ideas moving forward about some stuff that I want to do. Invested in some things that will help me get done what I want to do more on my own. Again, it's like a little bit kind of riffing off of you, Sonia, where it's, I can't, I got to rely on what is it I can do on my own. And because, everybody else is doing their thing and you can't always rely on other people to help you get your thing done. You got to be able to make a plan that, you know, if everything else doesn't go the way you want, that you still have plans C and D and E. So that's what I'm doing. Plan C, D, and E. Make
all the
sure
way
things
to
move forward.
Z.
That's right. We're getting them plans set up. So in that way, yeah, this year has been a revelation to me about getting things planned out and done and worked on. Um, Getting back to some stuff that I always, wanted because I, got a little bit off with my artwork and the writing, and I'm now just getting back into the groove of writing and writing to completion. So that's the thing too. Writing to completion is my goal,
Yep.
and because that thing, you can always get distracted, but try to write to completion, focusing on the writing. And strangely enough, right now it's crazy to think about it. We're actually at the halfway mark, so that means it puts us at the point where we start talking about uh, anything in the news media or whatever in this past year. I mean, I know we just kind of touched a little bit on the January 6th stuff. We didn't say it specifically, but all that that's been going on, the upcoming uh, trials regarding the orange one, all that is coming up. And that's been kind of a rocky year for us, kind of understanding that maybe our government is not as stable as we thought, and our justice system is not as stable, or not. I guess not. The word is not stable. Our justice system is not as consistent, as we would have hoped. So we do have those things, but what can we do then to stir ourselves into action? What can we do as regular citizens that makes a difference in that? And sometimes we just maybe have to talk about that. Then also I guess one of the big issues is the remaining members of BTS all are now in military service in South Korea. So that was a big thing in my house. That the BTS members, Namjoon, Kim Taehyung, Jung Kook, and Park Jimin are all now in the military. The first three, the few older ones, the Hyungs, had all gone already, and so now the Maknaes are all um, now in the military. But the positive thing is that they'll all be out by 2025. So that was the positive thing about them going in this year,
Oh,
that they'll
so
all be done.
wow, that was I didn't know it affected people.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Well, if listen, if you think that's bad, my favorite football team has turned. They used to be called the Kansas City Chiefs. Now they're the Kansas City Swifties.
Oh, cute, cute.
Yeah, and I'm
Are you
happy for that. I'm happy for that. But anything that bad that happens to other teams, I'm happy for that. So I support the Jets and the Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah,
So
I'm a Jets
anything other than
fan.
those three teams, yeah, there you go.
I'm a Jets fan too, but it's just too much of a hot mess right now with the Jets. I can't take it with them anymore. Okay.
You sound like Otto.
See,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of
Trash
hot messes.
team.
I'm a
Well,
fan
People
of hot
they,
messes.
they,
People thought, listen, people thought I lost my mind that first game with the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. And mind you, I jumped on the. I'm a Jets fan, but I jumped on the bandwagon and drank the Kool-Aid at the last minute because, first of all, Aaron Rodgers and his whole outlook on COVID and all that, I can't do him. But then I'm like, okay, he's a Jet. I'll deal with it. The fourth play, really, dude? The fourth play, you
Yeah, you poor
well,
delusional fool.
if you say I'm going to have a little something, to warm me up before the game, and it's ayahuasca, that tells you everything you need to know right there.
yeah, yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, with being a Jets fan, it's like Charlie Brown and Lucy with the football. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah,
We're lucky both his legs didn't come off.
yeah.
Well, has anybody said who thought that was a good idea in the first place?
Me, I have always said that. I've said, whose idea was this? We're going to
Yeah,
get this guy?
right.
Who? Who?
Incredible.
Who said it was a good idea for Taylor Swift to become a Kansas City Chief fan? Who said that?
Oh boy. Yeah, yeah. And see, the thing about it with baseball with the Mets and Yankees was so bad. I said, okay, I can't wait till football season. Then when football season, now it's like I can't wait till pitchers and catchers report spring training.
Yeah, more unhappiness.
Yeah. And
And then
then,
here comes the
the
election
Knicks.
cycle.
No, and here comes the Knicks trading quickly. And RJ Barrett. What is that all about?
I don't know. I
Hot
don't know.
messes.
Good
Hot
Lord.
messes.
Hmm.
You
Well,
wait until
I said
wait
today,
until
I am
November.
done. I
I
Wait
can
am
until
remember
November.
done.
the
With the New
in-season
York Knicks.
tournament thing. So
Wait until primary and election day. You know, when primaries come around and
Hmm.
Trump is being pushed off ballots
Hmm.
already. He's
Hmm.
being kicked off ballots. Anybody who think that's gonna last, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Well, I think the issue is you start the thing now, and they say what you can do and how you can do it so you can find out, so that when your crunch time comes, you'll know how to do it. Well, that's the way I look at it.
Well, Maine took him off the ballot, and then about a couple hours later, they put him back on. So I don't know what's going on up there.
Yeah, and what the Supreme Court is going to say is we don't want to make this decision to take away the American people's choice of president. So we're going to
No,
decide
what they're going to
after the
say,
election.
what they're going to say is this is a political decision. This is a political issue, and we don't have jurisdiction to try political issues. That's what they're going to say.
That
yeah,
works too. Yeah.
not since reproductive rights, we haven't had that capability. So yeah.
Yeah, there's no problem doing that though.
Right,
Right.
right.
Yeah. Just like the
This
woman
is
from
not a
Texas.
justiciable controversy.
Hmm.
Woman from Texas flees Texas to get abortion.
Hmm.
Hooray,
And,
says Republicans.
and Texas Rangers grab her and drag her back across the border.
All right. Oh my God. That's why I don't watch the news. I know we're going forward. So my advice to everyone is don't watch the news in 2024. Don't watch the news because there's not a damn thing you can do about it, right? I mean, if you watch the news and somebody says, "Oh my God, there's all this stuff going on," and let's say Gaza Strip, What are you supposed to do about it? What are you going to do? Take a plane over to Gaza? You
Yeah.
know, they
So
tell you about
exactly.
unhappiness that you can't control.
So yeah. So what you tell me? Why is this news? What is it I'm supposed to do with this information? So why are you telling me? It's like you say, you tell them a guy went to the shopping mall today and shot up the place. He was arrested by police and taken into custody. So why are you telling me? You have him. He's not at large. There's no one that you need me to look for. The thing's already happened. So why is this news? Why are you telling me? This is something I need to know because if you're saying, hey, this is the news. It's a guy who's heading toward the store who's gonna do a thing. If you see him, run him over with your car. Okay, I get that. But if you are telling me that things already happened, he's been apprehended, he's not at large, then why do you need to tell me? Police do your job, and that's it. That's all there should be to that.
Because I
Why
know
the
that you're
ton-
going to watch. I know
Yeah.
that you will
Also,
watch
yeah,
it
but also
yourself.
it because it has also political undertones. We want to make you feel unsafe. We tell you about unsafe things to make you feel unsafe, even though you cannot control it. And then we tell you, well, we can fix that for you, knowing that it's impossible.
Yeah,
You know.
that's pretty much the New York Post. Okay,
Hmm.
if you were to read the New York Post every day, you would think that it's anarchy in New York City. Okay, when in fact anybody that's lived in New York knows shit happens every day in New York. Okay, somebody's gonna get shot almost every day in New York. There's nothing new about it. But to the New York Post, they just try to put forth this agenda that the city is not safe. Um, and then the thing about it is, 99% of the time when it's a crime committed, the face of the person on the front page of New York Post is a person of color. Okay, so they have this thing where their readers just feel like they're supposed to be under siege.
Yeah.
When it's really not. It's just that in New York, like any other place, shit happens. I mean, you have some other metropolitan areas that have a higher murder rate than New York. But according to New York Post, the New York Post is like it's just anarchy and it's all because of wokeness and all of that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? And it's it's gonna get worse next year because it's an election year.
Oh yeah. And that's the same deal
Hmm.
they have with the president of Harvard. You know, she has
Yeah,
got to go. They say it's nothing but
yeah,
anarchy, and because of wokeness, that's how she got a job in the first place.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's incredible because it's like they might just admit, just say, "Hi, we are racists who have nothing at all to do with your university, could never have ever
And
gotten
sexist.
in the first place.
And
So we have
sexist.
nothing to, yeah, and sexist. So we have nothing at all to do with the university. We just want to be racist. Thank you and goodbye. Just say it.
yeah,
You're done with it. Just say we
yeah.
all know it. Just
I
say
mean,
it.
I mean, for it seemed like not seemed like this past week. I think they had her face on the cover of the New York Post like maybe 3 times. Okay,
Is Harvard in
this
New York?
well,
Exactly.
it was
Exactly.
it was getting to the point where the third time I was like, well, what did she knock off a liquor store or something? What the hell is going on this shit? Why is this? Why they keep putting this? It's that and a Metro card will get me on the subway. What's going on?
Exactly. Exactly. She did the most absurd thing is be a black woman and be the president of a major university. How dare she?
Yeah, it's just it's not just absurd. It's obscene. They're so ridiculous with. Oh my god.
Do anyone remember the previous presidents of Harvard? Anybody?
Not sure.
Yeah,
Was
uh,
Jeffrey Hazard ever the president of Harvard? I can't remember.
Law school.
was the John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith was what? I don't know, and I don't care.
Exactly. Why the hell would
Like,
anybody care? Why would you care about them want to do a hit job on this
yeah,
woman that you never even heard of before? It
you
has no
know,
meaning in your life.
it's like Lou Costello says, I don't care and I don't give a darn. Oh, give a darn plays third base.
Right. Yeah. It's like these people, they just they got a hit list, and 2024 is where their hit list is really going to be expanded, and you're going to see a lot of people. And the word woke is like used as some sort of pejorative, slur. So
That's just a
Well,
number of
that's what
people.
it is. That's what it's been turned into.
Well, the
Yeah,
thing that's
Because
amazing to me is the issue of wokeness. Number one, it doesn't refer to them. It doesn't have any relationship to them. So why are they talking about it? It's not about them. That's our word. It is about us being woke, not them. It has nothing to do with them. So why are they using it?
Because it's another code word for something that is going to destroy quote unquote traditional values if you say it's woke. Because
right.
that's just another euphemism for those colored people again are getting uppity, and we have to watch out for it.
right.
yeah. It's just like does anybody remember when Fox had this thing, the war on Christmas?
Oh
Yeah,
God.
yeah. I remember
Yes.
that.
Oh my gosh, I remember that nonsense.
What
They're
happened
saying
to that
Happy
anyway?
Holiday and not
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. I said, what in the world is wrong with you people? Are
What
your
happened to that
brains
campaign?
soggy?
Well, no, you know what it is? This is this is exactly, I mean it I'm not saying it culminated in Trump, but Trump was the guy who has it down pat. And he always did, but it was like personified, I guess you might say. But this is the kind of crap they pull all the time.
Hmm.
What they do is that they tell people, white people, that their little bit of privilege and their so-called supremacy is under threat. And so if you don't join us, you're going to lose everything. Because the thing is that and Lyndon Johnson pegged it. He said nobody wants to be as low. I mean, he didn't say it in these so many words, but nobody wants to be as low as a black man.
That's right.
So, the white man who thinks he's, one step up will give you all his money to keep his self delusion. Because what happens is if they lose what they're trying so hard to cling to, they will discover that not only are they no better than a black man, they have always been the same
Hmm.
as a black man. And that is something they do not want to admit. I mean, it's like the only thing they have to hold on to. I think when this was George Floyd, the protests, and they interviewed, there was like a man on the street kind of thing. They interviewed this one guy and asked why he was so upset about BLM, blah 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 blah. And the guy said, "They're taking our country away." Excuse me? Well, yes, we're talking about the sector of society who believes that the United States was founded by white Christians for white Christians. Well, there's a little problem with that because the men who founded this country were not Christian,
We're not Christians.
and
Yeah, it's
and
not.
it's like,
It, it's
but
not in
but
the
this
Constitution.
is their delusion that they are clinging to, and they idolize a time that appeared on television in the 1950s but never was.
Never was.
The 50s was horrible. I mean, the economy was crap after the
Hmm.
Korean War.
Hmm.
And but this is what they idolize Ozzy and Harriet and this, that, and the other, and it was
Leave it
never
to
like
Beaver.
It was
that.
feel
Leave
Yeah,
it to
good.
leave.
Beaver,
A
yes,
feel good era for them, thinking
right.
that
Father knows
ultimately,
best.
yeah, ultimately, I can aspire to this life that never really existed,
Yeah.
Right.
but they can pretend, you know.
And that's what they want. They want to keep their self delusion. And Trump plays right into that,
Now,
scaring him half to death with all those dog whistles and code
Hmm.
words and this, that, and the other. And the people lap it up. The a couple of weeks ago, I guess, I sat down and had my barf bag and I watched a Trump rally.
Mm.
The man never said anything about policy. Nothing. This was all like stream of consciousness. He was entertaining the crowd. That's what they wanted. They wanted to be entertained.
That's
They
all it
didn't want
is.
to know anything.
That's all it
Because he
is.
was on a TV show. They think his campaign and his
Exactly.
presidency is just a continuation of his television show, and they
Exactly.
don't want to
Exactly.
cancel. And they don't. They definitely don't want to interrupt it.
And the other thing is that, these are the same, very same people who are blaming Biden for their higher taxes when it was their orange marmalade butt boy who signed the bill into law. That's the first thing he did when he took office in 2016.
Yeah.
And all those tax cuts and Jobs Act, well, all those tax cuts for his rich buddies, we're the ones paying for it.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
TCGA is supposed to expire or sunset in 2025, right? Because what's happening is our tax rates are going up every 2 years. And that's why the tax is going blah, 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 blah. Well, I'll tell you what, if the Republicans take the White House and lose, and the Dems lose the House, and if they retain the Senate or whichever one it is, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is going to be extended for God knows how many years, maybe 10 years, because that's what it does. It takes all of that, all of the tax cuts for the rich. We pay for it. The people, and I'm talking about the Joe Blow in the MAGA hat.
Joe the
Right. They
plumber.
don't know that.
They
They
don't
They
don't
don't know.
know
realize.
that. No, they
They
don't
don't
know
know.
that.
They don't know
They
that
don't know
payroll
that, and you know
taxes
what?
and
They don't care
yeah.
because it's much easier to blame Biden
Hmm.
than their own excuse me, stupidity.
Hmm.
But it
Their
makes
Yeah.
them
own
feel good.
willful
I mean, if you had a
blindness.
choice, if you had a choice, a normal human being, facing facts or dealing with something that gave you pleasure,
Hmm.
that's why Vegas exists. I'm going to the pleasure
Right,
dome.
Hmm.
right, right.
I don't want to
Because I
face
can hope and
facts. It's
wish,
like there's something,
you know.
something Penelope said. What did you say this morning, Penelope, about the person that had a story to write, and so now they clean houses. What was it? I
Yeah.
forgot what it's.
Yeah. So the writers, was it the writers cleaning service? It said,
Yes,
"You tell me that I got to write something, and then
and I clean your
I'll
house.
I'll come to your house and clean your house instead. Gonna keep you whatever it is that keep me from doing the thing that I need to do. And that's the way
Right,
that we are. We
That's
would
human. That's
avoid,
human behavior. Yeah, it's
yeah,
like the endorphins,
avoidance.
and they
Yeah.
get that. If you told black people that you could do all this stuff, you all these, all the pleasure that we got from Barack Obama being president,
Mhm.
all the endorphins, seeing his
Mhm.
picture on, federal courthouses, and the State of the
Mhm.
Union, till that guy jumped up and said, "You lie." All those good things. Black people they be down for it.
Mhm.
You didn't get a whole lot
Of
for
course,
it,
we
other
get
than
yeah we get
that.
a lot for it. Just a whole about a window dressing.
But that
Didn't
good
get a whole
feeling
lot
was,
for it though. Other than
but
that, I
Yeah.
mean,
that good feeling was good.
well, our good feeling came from hopefulness. They were like hoping, okay, great, this guy's gonna come in, he's gonna do some things. Now he understands the situation. But then,
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I
there's a
thought.
there's a
But what?
black woman in the White House, and black kids in there.
Yeah, yeah, they're
I
gonna do
love
things.
it.
Yeah, but our understanding was, what my understanding came to be, that Barack Obama's father was African and his mother was a white woman. He was not African American. He did not identify with the struggles of what African American people had to go through. He spent a grand, I believe, part of his life detached from the African American experience. Living with people, his great grandparents who were Anglo, who did not particularly, who like he said, one story, his grandmother was saying that she had fears of those black kids, walking on the other side of the street or something, and that he internalized that. And so he felt, I believe, he spent a lot of his career trying to please white people because of that internalized feeling that he was a threat. And so he couldn't do anything for us because he hadn't dealt with his own self-loathing and spent so much time trying to be popular that he didn't do any work, and
Yeah, yeah, but you also got to factor in that when he got elected his first term, Mitch McConnell said that he was going to make it his business to make sure that nothing gets done
well,
under Obama.
and I understand that. But the reality is this: he said, well, he's going to make it his business. So we're going to just throw in the towel and say, oh well, Mitch McConnell wins. I mean, this is where you have to get the people in your administration to do whatever it is that it takes to go in those back rooms, make the deals and stuff to get the work done. But
Yeah,
he didn't have that kind of background.
but Penelope, I get what you're saying, and you're right up to a point. But if I mean, the three branches are of quote unquote equal power. If the House doesn't, if the Congress doesn't want to deal with you, they won't.
They
Look,
won't.
Understood.
I was in my working life. I was a lobbyist. I was up there every day, almost every day,
Hmm.
and I've seen how this works. It is not all nice and pristine, and it is about as
No,
dirty
I
as it
would think that
gets.
it is. I think it's very dirty life, which is why when you have someone who is like Barack Obama, who wants to, he's very image conscious. It's like you need to have people who are in the trenches that don't mind getting dirty. And I don't think that he had those people. He had a lot of Clinton's people in his administration. You
Well,
know,
you make a good point. You do make a good point, and I think that and I think that Obama also walked a line. Um, Now, whether he identified, he did when his book, he did write about that, his struggles with that. But the thing is that whether Obama identifies as white or not, people, black, white, Asian, Native American, are going to look at him and say, "This is a black man."
right?
And he understood that, and I think he understood the line he was walking.
It's almost like it was almost the same situation with Jackie Robinson. Okay, Jackie Robinson had to hold a lot of rage in
Hmm.
when he came up from the Montreal Farm Club to the Dodgers. I mean, if you ever see his movie biography, which I kind of give him credit because he was a little stiff as an actor, but there's one part where he's in Branch Ricky's office, and Branch Rickey says, "Listen, Jackie, you gotta you gotta do certain things that you're not gonna like." He said, put it this way: a white baseball player is on first base, and he tries to steal second base where you're playing second, and he slides in, and you tag him, and he looks up and sees your black face staring at you. Okay, and he's enraged. What are you gonna do? And Jackie Robinson, that first year, he had to hold even going into the second year, he had to kind of hold shit in.
Hmm.
Excuse my French. Now after the third year, Eno Slaughter will tell you one time he slid in second base and Jackie Robinson tagged him, but he tagged him in his face.
Mm.
Okay, he tagged him out, slapping him in the face with his glove. And Enos was like, "Oh well, why you hit me so hard like that? And Jack Rouse was like, well, you was trying to steal second,
Hmm.
you know. So yeah, and see that's another thing. If you ever notice when it comes to black folks and being the
Hmm.
first always catches the hell.
Yeah, but
Okay,
Obama was first for
Hmm.
4 years, and then he had another 4 years when he wasn't the first.
right.
So it's like
Well,
you can't run again anyway. You might well be like that Key and Peele, you know,
yeah,
that just
Sketch,
f
yeah.
stuff up, man. It's like I'm out, man. I'm just because
yeah.
you got Mitch McConnell. He's effing stuff up anyway. It's like don't hold back, man. Just
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go down to the Senate
It's
and knock the shit out of me. I don't care.
Which I listen, I would have loved if C-SPAN showed Obama marching over to the Capitol and then walking in the Senate chambers and clocking McConnell a good one.
I would have loved that. I would have
you
loved
know?
that. You know the
Hmm.
thing
Oh,
is, uh,
absolutely.
like the stuff that
Absolutely.
Trump says at his rallies and stuff. He the reason people vote for this maniac is that he doesn't seem to care. I want somebody that don't give a damn. It's like you know what?
But
None
see,
of this crap really.
and see, even with that,
Hmm.
it took a long time for us to come to that point. Cause see, you had people like Rush Limbaugh and Bob Grant in New York. People used to tune into their radio shows
Hmm.
because they would say stuff that white people didn't want to say out in public or among people. Okay, and then he evolved
Yes.
from that to the point where Trump is like, you know what? I'm not gonna hold back. I'm just gonna come out here and say because there's 30% of this country that will listen and agree with some of the crap that I'm saying.
Mhm,
Right.
mhm,
Right.
mhm. Those are
And
the
I
people.
I,
I mean, why
I
do you
believe
think
if
he said,
Obama,
I love the uneducated?
Yeah,
yeah, I believe if Obama came out and said, you know what, there is racism. White people have been skating along on racism and sexism for a long time, and blah blah blah. He would get a lot of support even from white people. But I think this walking the line, man. You walking a tightrope for what
hmm
reason? We don't need
yeah.
tightrope walkers. We need people who are going to choose us. The side that's going to help the people. So it's
Yeah.
like
You know, I'm
it's
not,
like the Michelle Obama. It's like the Michelle Obama thing. We go low and they go low and we stay. No, they go low. We kick them in the head because
yeah, you
they're
gotta
our
kick it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
values.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. But I also think, um, even though Obama, quote, may not have done much, blah, 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 I think the fact that he became president was was the wake up call for these white racist sexists.
oh
Agreed.
yeah,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Agreed.
so the backlash, of course, is that, well, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that never happens again. But the thing is, of course, is that what these people don't want to believe is that white people are on the way out.
there you
White
go,
people are now 60% of this country.
there you go, and
And it's getting smaller and small. In another 20, 25 years, white people are going to be the minority.
They
that's
already are.
that's
So they
They
got
that
these
actually,
tricks.
actually, they already are.
Oh,
that's
What
So
they've
they got
done
these
is that they've
tricks in
changed up because
place.
they've changed up. Like, go ahead, Otto.
Yeah, they got these tricks in place because the thing is, Obama won twice, despite the
Hmm.
fact that McConnell and all those rest was trying to block him, and he won twice against white
yeah.
men. So
yeah.
it's like the thing. Yeah, the thing is that this gerrymandering and all the other things, and places like North Dakota having as much political electoral votes or whatever
Mhm.
as New York. It's like it's crazy. It's insane.
Well, I
And
know,
It,
you know what my argument has been, Otto, and my position is that we need to abolish the Senate. We have no use for it. The Senate is just a way to have kept white people in power for all this time.
Well,
That's all it
real,
is.
well, really, what if
What good
it,
is the Senate?
well, really, what needs to be abolished is the electoral
No, we don't. It
college.
doesn't have to be an issue of electoral college.
No,
We
no, the
don't need a
elect
Senate.
the
We do not need the
electoral
U.S. Senate.
no, no, the electoral college. The only reason why we have it is because the southern states back in since the beginning of this country, they felt that if they didn't put that little, I guess, barrier to electoral college in, that the northern states would just outvote them all the time.
And that is
Okay.
the absolute truth. That is what the three-fifths compromise is all about. Black people were three-fifths of a person for purposes of the electoral college. Get rid of it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but if we get rid of the Senate, we don't need to get rid of the electoral college. We won't need an electoral
No,
college
the
at all.
elect no, I'm not saying that you are incorrect, Penelope. But if you're gonna get rid of one, the other, or both, you
Yeah, they
start
both
with
have to
the
go.
electoral college.
They both have to go.
Yeah.
What need do we have for the U.S. Senate? There is no need for it, and they have maintained that power structure. Basically, is the United States analog of the House of Lords.
Well,
There's no use for it.
to tell you the truth, in my opinion, I would kind of keep the Senate because say we didn't have the Senate and we had all of these cloud cuckoo Republicans in Congress now.
George
Okay.
Santos.
Yeah. Would you see what happened to him the other day?
No,
Yeah.
He said that somebody broke into his car and stole some stuff, and then when they went to the police about it, the captain of the precinct said, "Yeah, well, I'm 98% sure that he lied about that because we investigated it and we couldn't find anything to substantiate it being a break-in."
so what was the
Yeah.
point of him
I
saying that he
thought,
Yeah.
was robbed?
He lies about random stuff for no reason. That's the thing.
Publicity.
Yeah.
yeah, publicity.
His cameo sales must be going down, so he had to bump it back
Here's
up.
the thing. Here's my thing. My prediction for 2024. George Santos would get a reality show and make a great deal
Yeah.
of
Oh
money.
yeah,
He's already making money on Cameo. He doesn't need a reality show. He went from making what, is it 100 something thousand as a congressman, and he's making three times that selling Cameo videos.
I have no idea what that is.
It's the thing like what you got from Tim Russ for your birthday.
You're kidding. And so
Yeah.
people pay for that for him to say something to them.
Yep.
Why?
Because
He's George Santos, and
I
it's funny.
but I don't get it. I have no idea
Hi,
what
I'm
it
George
is.
Santos. Penelope, I'd like to wish you a happy birthday. I lied. It's not your birthday. Happy anniversary.
Or if you really wanted to get even with somebody, you send them a George Santos greeting.
Yeah, something. Wow. I guess a joke gift for somebody.
Jimmy Kimmel bought a whole bunch of them to see if he'd
Why?
actually do it.
He's gonna
I'd
give
stop
gave
watching
them
that.
this
money.
dude is gonna rake in
But
money.
you gave him money, Jimmy
Yep.
Kimmel.
I think
This
it was
dude is
Jimmy's
gonna
way
rake
of
in
paying him
money.
for all the material.
He's gonna
Oh
rake
yeah,
in
there you
money in
go.
20. He's gonna rake in money in 2024. It's not gonna be limited. My prediction is not gonna be limited to Cameo, because that's only like what 300,000, whatever. If he's making three times what he's making as a senator, that's chump change to what he can make as a Kardashian, type
Yeah.
reality show. He could dress up
Yeah.
in drag. He could do all that stuff.
And then he can become president
yeah,
Dancing
yeah.
with
Yeah,
the stars.
or at least run for office.
again.
Yeah. Like Tiny Tim, used to run for office. What's his name?
My,
Oh,
What's his
project, my
name?
projection for those are my
Pat Paulson
that's my projection for 2024.
Okay, thank you. Anybody
You're
else got
welcome.
anything to depress us with? Anybody else? Anybody? Anybody?
We could depress ourselves if these court cases don't come through. But
You know what?
but that's beside the point.
Mhm.
I think people are now realizing just what's entailed in the judicial system, and they're mad because a lot of the judicial system is making them accountable for what they've done, and they've never had that before.
I think it's kind of
This
interesting when the woman who's from here, was saying that when she was rich and she was white, that she wasn't going to go to jail, and she went to jail.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what is wrong with you? Well, I mean, I think a lot of them believe that the law does not apply to them. I think that's one of the big problems that people
I
think.
predict.
Well, I mean,
I
who? I
predict
That's
mean,
Penelope. Penelope, I
yeah,
predict in 2024 that Donald Trump will be allowed on every ballot in the United States.
that's okay. I mean, the issue to be allowed on the ballot is one thing; to win is something else. I think it'd be good for him to be on every ballot and to lose. You know, he was on every ballot last time and lost. So
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it. Um, but I just think we just have to be mindful moving forward. It's not just about keeping him out, but what is our view of the world? What do we want for our world? What do we want for ourselves? It's not enough to just say keep him out. What is it that we need? You know, uh, when I hear reading of scientists saying that the water table is rising, and this is a thing that they think is almost unstoppable at this moment. Well, what are we doing? Are we still out making the same type of cars, same type of factories, knowing that this is going to continue and do nothing? I mean, I don't want people just to get off and say, "Yippee, we made it." What are we going to do? I mean, I'll tell you the thing
Well,
that really bothered me most about things is that several years back, remember they were saying at the border that children were being taken, they were being held in these, I don't know, internment camps or whatever you want to call them. And we had individuals from Congress go down and tour these places, etc. But not once did anybody tell us what we, as an average American citizen, what can I do? What can I do? Should I get on a bus? Should I go down there with a gallon of water and then pour it on the ground, or send
no,
money,
get
hire
mad.
attorneys?
Get
Get I mean,
mad.
I'm just
Go to your
saying,
window.
yeah, and you can
Go to
go
your
and you
window
can
and say,
elect
I
this
can't take.
person. But things I'm gonna elect that person, great. What are you going to do? And to this date, who knows what happened to those children? Who knows?
We don't.
They run down there, they get a photo op, and the concerned shake their heads and speak into the camera. But to date, we were never told what we could have done to help those children. We were never told what these people did, if anything, to help those children, or what happened to them. So that always needles me. When I look at people who are running for office, great. So what did you do? What are you going to do? I'm tired of just I'm going to be there, and for the next 2 years I'm going to be on the phone asking people to send me money so I can run for office in 2 years. Come on,
Is
you
this
know.
the if we get Trump and Biden running against each other, will this be the oldest um, choices the country has ever had? Do we know?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
They
cause
made a joke about it at the Kennedy Center honors.
yeah, I mean, God bless him, but Biden is breaking some records for being the oldest at this and that, the oldest president at this and that, this and that. The oldest president, the oatmeal in the morning, the oldest president,
Wow.
you
But
know.
but
Do you
my
think
my
there's a
thing is
possibility?
he can't
You
be
think there's a
a bumbling
possibility?
idiot old man and a mastermind who outsmarts the Republicans at the same time.
Yeah, well they'll try it. They'll try to sell you both of those at
Do
the
you think
same
there's a
time.
they're trying to use this his age as a
Yeah, but
hedge
you know what?
against Kamala Harris, becoming if he passes away, then Kamala Harris should be president. Do you think he's going to think about dropping her from the ticket at all?
No, because then he pisses off too many people.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what?
he
You know
would
what?
do that.
The way I care, the way I feel about it, I don't care. You got to do what you got to do. If she is an albatross, if she's not going to bring any value to that ticket, then drop her. And I don't I'm beyond that. Uh, Whatever it's going to take, do what it takes. If she is not bringing people to to vote, if she's not exciting the base, whatever it
Why are
is,
people?
then
Why
she's
do
got
people
to
just
go.
like? Apparently, people just like her. I don't understand why.
I don't dislike her. I'm just saying that from his perspective, that if she's not bringing, people to the table, then I don't have a problem with him dropping her and getting someone that can.
But
I don't have a problem with it.
Taylor Swift is too young to be president, so can't really pick her. She's brought
And
in over
why in the
Man,
world would anyone do that?
because she brings in
And
millions of voters.
why would anybody do that?
Because she brings in the
And why would
voters.
anybody do that? Why?
I
Why?
I have a
She
question though. I
brought
have another
in.
question.
Hmm.
I have another question for the group. It seems it's always difficult for Black people to vote, but why is it for poor Black people to vote? Why isn't it hard? Is it hard for poor white people to vote, or is it the
Yes, it is, but they
same?
just
Or
don't talk about it. They don't bring it up as a talking point.
yeah,
Because then they have to admit that they're poor,
yeah.
and nobody wants to admit that.
Just like you'd have to admit that affirmative action benefited white white women more than it did any other minority.
Right.
I
are
think the
white women
Chinese
really a
folk.
minority though? Are
But
they?
they're not even a minority.
America, but
No, but they benefited from it.
Right.
And the
Absolutely. I'm not
people who
saying
were
that.
the Chinese folks who were families who were suing just realized just now that they got had.
Well, you know what? That's what they get for not being educated. If you were educated, if you're
What
educated,
do you
you would
mean?
understand how things work and you wouldn't do stupid things. So,
What do you mean not
welcome
educated?
welcome to the
They
real
didn't
world
and
jackass.
they
That's what it is.
they didn't research the issue enough.
Exactly. How could you move forward with something like this and not
Damn.
educate yourself as to what it is that is going on? So, and those people, I mean, it's not everyone. It is not everyone. But for those people that did not stop them, you know, you've got to you at fault. You've got to tell your brethren, stop doing this. Because guess
So you
what?
saying
We are
you're
an
saying they were
ethnic
you?
minority. We are an ethnic minority and we benefit from this.
You're
These
saying they
people,
were
if they want to
used?
keep us out, if they use this to keep other ethnic minorities out, they're going to keep us out too. They do not understand that, you
Pretty
know?
I
much.
I think every abused perspective needs to realize we need to get together and fight, climate change, crooked politicians, education, business. If we all stood together as one group and made them realize that, wait a minute, I'm part of the global majority,
Right.
wake up, this
Mhm.
affects me, but nobody thinks that way anymore.
Why can't we
I
do
think,
that? Why can't somebody
I
just
think, but I
say
think
what
the
you
biggest,
just said? And
but I think one of the problems is this issue of artificial scarcity, that they
Hmm.
create this concept that there is a shortage of all things, not enough jobs, not enough money, not enough educational opportunities, not enough. Everything is not enough, and because of this false sense of scarcity, everyone is running to grab what they can instead of realizing that we're fighting over crumbs and they have got the whole loaf. They are just sprinkling these little crumbs on us and watching us fight over it like, what do you call it? Those dog fights or cock fights, this they watch
Hmm.
us and out there doing this and
Yeah.
they are
And
amused by it.
and to answer Otto's question, why isn't somebody saying this or doing this? Last person who said all this was Martin Luther King Jr. and he got shot.
Yeah.
no, but I agree. But in this
somebody talking?
Yeah, really,
You're coming in really
Roxanne.
light, Roxanne. You're coming in really low.
We only see your shoulder.
Yes, a lovely shoulder that it is. That's what we see.
absolutely.
I thought you'd have another conversation.
Oh, she's not
Maybe.
talking to us anymore.
Okay.
But
No.
what we're talking about is divide and conquer.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And they use false scarcity in order to do that. To tell, the black people, oh, the white people
They're
took all the
taking
stuff,
your
and the
yep.
Asian people, they're taking, yeah,
They're taking your crumbs from you.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because you get the
It's-
impression that the only people that have a problem voting are poor Black people or Black people in general, and that Why is that? Why is it? Why is that impression given? Why is that impression given? It's just
Because in years past, Latinos traditionally voted Republican because the Republicans are going, look, they're fascists just like what you left your country for, or what fill in the blank. Uh, Asians used to vote Republican for whatever reason. So that left the black folk with the
Adjacency.
Democrat. Yeah, with the
Well, it's
Democrat.
adjacent. A lot of them they craved white adjacency because they come from a country that tells them that in this country, in order to be successful, you need to be white adjacent. And as a result, then they think being voted Republican is about as white adjacent as you can get. At least in these days. After the great flip. From the Dixiecrats, Democrats.
Yeah, and coming from other Latin American countries, you have colorism down there too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but somebody need to tell Roxanne that her conversation is occurring on a recording.
Mm-hmm.
Penelope, can you
We
mute
know
her?
all her
I can.
secrets.
Yes. We now have muted her. You
There.
don't know all of her secrets, the Wu-Tang secrets that she's revealing.
How she's fixing the house.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so prediction. Somebody will. I predict that there will be somebody who comes along and finally wakes up enough people to say, "We are a global majority. Let's work like one."
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you in all honesty, what they really need to do in the Democratic Party is everybody step back and let Stacey Abrams jump up and work her magic because she is the only person that really knows how to run a campaign, to get people out to vote. So everybody else sit down and shut up and let Stacey do her thing.
Please.
She is a guru and she needs to be followed in all things in every sector with regard to getting out the vote.
I
Well,
tell you,
I think with Democrats, and mind you, I'm an independent, but I think with Democrats they just need to grow some balls and nipples.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fight. Fight the good fight. Stop reacting like Sean
Mhm.
Connery said in Untouchables. Okay,
That's right.
you bring this person brings a bat, you bring a knife to the fight. This
That's right.
is a knife, you bring a gun. You got to fight these people.
They
Don't
say
bring
they
up.
say they
They
put
put
they
yours in the
say
hospital.
you put one
You
in the
put them
hospital,
in
you
the
put
grave.
theirs in the morgue. Then you put one of
Why
theirs in
is
the
it?
morgue.
Why is it?
Yeah.
Why is it that we don't have anybody who just like a rolling dervish worth of fighting? Why? What happened?
You know what? I'm going to tell you
It's like
the last person that's a whirling dervish of fighting was Michael Bloomberg. He was not scared of Trump, and Trump was scared of him. And
Yeah,
then you have Elizabeth Warren, who I mean, to this day, I think that she was given some money paid off or whatever to try to undermine Michael Bloomberg. I really do. I was so
well,
disappointed.
Bloomberg did the stop and frisk, and
You know what?
he had
I
all
heard
those.
that, but you know what? I'm
Yeah,
going to tell you this. That's fine. I don't mind that at all because I would rather
you
somebody
don't
be in
mind
the White
stop and
House.
frisk?
Oh, no. I don't mind the fact that he did it and now he owes us. I'd rather have somebody in the White House who owes me than somebody that doesn't. He owes us big time. And as a result, yeah, I'd rather have him up there. Because you remember, you owe us, buddy. And you
Mhm.
got to make good. You better make right on the things that you've done.
and see with the stop and frisk, that was a carryover from Giuliani. Okay, that was a carryover from Giuliani because Giuliani made it. He made it a crime to be poor in New York City.
Mm.
Okay,
I thought
even
it was a
even
crime.
well, this listen, even when it came to education, because he was mayor during the time when my children were in school, and it's like once his regime came into power, it was like they were coming down really hard on parents for no reason.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah, but he didn't campaign that way. He campaigned like a John Lindsay Republican or something.
he would he campaigned like a LaGuardia Republican, a fusion
Yeah,
Republicans.
But
you
then
Okay,
did
can't be a
something
straight
completely
up.
different.
You can't be a straight up Republican and win
nah,
the
not New
mayor's
York.
race in New
Mm.
York City.
No,
Yeah.
No, that doesn't happen.
Mm.
it
But
was
this
he
guy
was
came off as something different.
Listen, this Giuliani is the reason why I'm an independent now. Okay, because back in the day, the first political party that I joined was the Liberal Party.
Hmm.
Okay, with Ray Hardin and Reverend Harrington. They put Giuliani up for to run for mayor against Dinkins, right?
Mm-mm-mm.
Giuliani, up until that point, you would thought that he was the second coming of Lindsay or LaGuardia. He was a fusing Republican, but then he started changing, and the real change came when he led that infamous police riot down at City Hall, where the police was had stormed into City Hall and they were calling the council black and Latino council members niggers and spicks and all of that, and they was picking
Mm.
fights with black people. They was calling Dinkins a washroom attendant. He was the leader of that. And then when he got into Gracie Mansion, he just started. See, uh, 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 listen. The day everybody found out that he invited Benito Mussolini's niece for dinner
Mm.
at Gracie Mansion, that was the writing on the wall right there.
We made a mistake.
We made a mistake. And see, the mistake was so bad that it split the Liberal Party.
Mm.
Ray Hardin and his faction, they were all about patronage and grabbing jobs in Giuliani's administration. Reverend Hardin's faction, which I was part of, we were still about being progressive, you know, and it split the Liberal Party.
Well,
And
this
that's
here's
why you
another thing. Here's another thing. I wish I could make a prediction to as a codicil to Sonia's prediction is that we get rid of political parties.
Hmm.
I wish that would happen. Who who gives a damn? Who cares? You know, based on what the standard bearer of the Republican Party is saying, like Roxanne said, the crazy stuff that the candidate is saying. Who could justify being a Republican?
well,
Yeah.
that's why I'm independent now.
Hmm.
I'm an independent
Let me
because
criticize you. Let me criticize you. Let me criticize you.
right,
Okay, so I'm part of the liberal. I should be a Liberal Party member when I was in New York,
right,
and then I found out that I couldn't vote in the primaries,
right,
and so I ditched the only because of that.
Hmm.
right.
And so I wanted to say in who was going to be the standard bearer between the two parties. I made a decision. So I think independent is great, but I think that it's sort of it takes away your voice as to who's going to be the ultimate candidate on the other side.
Okay, for me, I'm just I just cut to the chase. Okay, if you the Democrats or Republicans, whichever party produces the candidate that in my view is the best for this country or the state or the city, that's who I'm gonna go for. Okay. Now with the primaries, you know they can figure it out, and then even if the candidate is not 100% of what I like, okay, but still, I'm gonna vote for who I feel is the best. That's why probably probably my grandson will be able to vote Republican for me because I can't see myself voting for a Republican in my lifetime. And
What about what about the undecided voter? Remember those people? They
I said,
right,
always
how
get
can
on
anybody be
CNN. They always get
undecided
on
in this day and
CNN.
age? I cannot
Yeah,
see how anyone can be undecided in this day and age.
that's a rare animal these days.
they're on
That's a rare.
CNN all this. I another prediction. There would be a group of undecided voters on CNN, and
I said, I
they're
can't
gonna
understand
poll
that.
them, and they're gonna ask them questions after each debate.
Hmm.
I don't know about that. And see, this is why I'm very skeptical about polls.
Hmm.
Okay, it's because it's always a pattern where the polls will show one thing, and that's usually if it's a poll I don't like, that's when I start flipping out early in the election cycle, and then the polls will kind of like solidify near the end. Now, this whole nonsense with Trump having a huge lead in the Republican Party, to me, they probably asking the same freaking people over and over and
Hmm.
over again. They're not going to different people. Okay. And these days, being undecided, how can you be undecided? You got the crazy guy over here, and you got the old guy over here. Okay. What is so hard to choose between? You're choosing between Metamucil and Cloud Cuckoo. Come
Well,
on.
reason you're undecided is you don't want your friends to know who you're really going to vote for.
That makes sense.
Ah,
I agree.
yeah,
That
yeah.
that makes
And
perfect
it's really
sense.
nobody's business, though, is it?
Yeah, it really isn't.
No, but the thing is that they're going to keep needling you and pushing you, and they're going to ask you leading questions, and they're going to do all the talking points of who they like, and say, "But you agree with that, right? Right?" And you're going to say yes, and then your friend that has opposite point of view is going to do the same thing. You're going to say yes to them, and that's why you're undecided because you don't really want people to know because your coworkers or whoever are going to look at you
Hmm.
differently, and you're just trying to may save face.
And young people don't pick up their telephones unless they know who's calling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
True
don't
don't.
that.
either.
True that. Yeah.
I don't
I
either.
don't.
No, I don't
I don't
either.
know who
But
that is.
that's
They can go into
you know
voicemail.
they're calling people who are lonely, who want somebody to talk to, and so they don't mind talking to survey takers.
Mm.
Well, that's me. That describes me, but I still won't pick up my phone. I'm lonely and I need somebody to talk to, but I won't pick up my phone.
Okay. There
I
you
know
go.
some folks in India. I'll give them your number.
uh,
I still won't pick up if I don't know your number. I'm not
I
picking
still
up.
want to pick up.
They'll find a way to spoof it, and you'll think it's somebody you know.
Mm-mm.
That's
Well,
the
unless
other
it's
trick.
somebody I know, I'm not picking up. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think that's right. I think you get the same people, and it's dangerous to talk politics now. Don't I would advise anyone. I would advise against anyone having a discussion regarding politics or the Middle East, Gaza, Israeli issues, or the Ukraine, or Trump being thrown off ballots. Avoid that discussion. Those discussions like the plague.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that
That's my suggestion.
unless you're talking with people who are willing to discuss the issue rationally, who are not have not just basically say I'm not going to listen to anything that you have to say. I have a particular position, and my position is the only position. What is the point? If you're not having conversations to get information to help you make decisions. But in all honesty, what decision can we make? As we were saying earlier in the show, what is the point of telling me what's going on in Gaza because there's nothing I can do?
Well,
Nothing.
Penelope, the one, you just talked about, having these conversations that people, who are willing to have rational discourse. But, one thing you got to remember is that even the people who you think would be willing to have rational discourse do not.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
know who they
You
are.
don't. You're right because I mean, that's what I say. But even so, we talk about it. But what can we do? What can we
Right.
do? What is we talk. It's okay. I think this. I think that. But ultimately, the end of the conversation, what can we do? You know, even if I say I'm pro this, I'm anti that. I mean, talk about elections and things of that ilk. Because one thing is, you can vote.
Mhm.
But
The
it
ultimate thing
used
is
to
that you get
be,
to vote. But
but it
now,
used to be public. But it used to be public discourse, like on, William Buckley's firing line, or some, even that
mhm,
60 Minutes thing they had with Shayna Alexander and whatever that old guy's
Jack,
name was.
which was it, Jack something?
Yeah,
I don't know, Otto, you might remember on Channel 13 in New York, the Open Mind.
yeah. You had conversations, and people said one thing, and then somebody said something else. But people weren't allowed to come on a program and say things that are unsubstantiated
Right.
or didn't or weren't credentialed enough
Right.
to say
Have an
stuff
opinion.
that's like,
To even have
yeah,
an
it's like,
opinion.
who's Tucker Carlson? He's not a political scientist, or any of these other people that come on it. They're just talking.
Hmm.
They don't know
Hmm.
Yeah,
anything.
and
They're just
and the
saying
other
stuff.
thing too about, trying to have rational discourse is, I mean, I think I don't want to say it's a deep cultural change, but it's certainly something that's been um, that's been seriously noticeable
Hmm.
for the past 25 years or so, is that anytime you disagree with someone on a political issue, it's a personal attack.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Instead of just being, no, I
exactly.
just don't
Yeah,
agree. Like,
nobody can have opinions anymore.
no, no, it is insane. No,
Yeah,
you can't just say, no, I just disagree. I just don't agree. And then
well,
people
then you
find
can't
it
be my
necessary.
friend anymore.
Right. If unnecessary to try to change your mind, or
Yeah,
It's
it's like, no, I
insane. It's
just
insane.
don't agree. That's all. You know, I don't understand culturally what's happened with this country.
no. And aside from, like, for example, Trump people, aside from their odious personalities and all of that,
Hmm.
um, I wouldn't be friends because I know they would try to be pounding their political views into me. And it's like,
Hmm.
no, I don't need to spend the afternoon defending myself against that.
Right. I just want to have a coffee and talk about the movie.
Yeah,
I don't want
Right,
exactly.
right.
to, and that stuff. In fact, when we were growing up, that was inappropriate conversation. You were supposed to talk
Inappropriate
religion,
conversation talk
politics,
about
or money.
politics, right?
Religion and money.
And
You
now
were
all
not
of
Right.
supposed
it,
to talk about it.
we discuss how much people make.
Hmm.
We take pictures of what we're eating or where we're eating.
Hmm.
We have these fantasy social media lives where we make
Hmm.
other people depressed because they're not eating and where we are, and they're not eating the ice cream with gold layering on it. It's just, we have to control our lives. That's the prediction. We have to get our lives back. It
Yeah.
can't be TikTok lives. It can't be Facebook,
Hmm.
Instagram. We have to live in a reality.
Right. Well, and I guess that's one of the downsides, of course, of the internet. It
Hmm.
allows people to present these avatars, and that's not their lives at all. I mean, how many chats online, and 13-year-old girl goes and it's a 45-year-old guy waiting for her.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Because that's
yeah.
insane.
All of that. Nobody is who they are on the
And
internet.
and and you're comparing your life against someone who has some avatar life, and it doesn't stack up, and so you're
Yeah,
a
how do
failure.
you know that gold leaf ice cream isn't gold colored tinfoil?
Right.
Yeah,
Or just,
yeah.
you know,
You
I don't
Yeah,
you
know.
are a failure, Penelope
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
Roxanne. You're a failure
Because you're
because
not
you're not eating
eating gold ice
gold ice
cream,
cream. Right.
gold
yeah.
shavings. So there.
Well,
Yeah.
what
I mean, unless it's somebody I know very well, like a family friend who still lives in Akron, Ohio, who was at the hospital the day I was born, kind of thing. I don't take anything I see on Facebook or Twitter. I mean, it's just okay. I reserve judgment on this is who you are.
And I think so many people look at this stuff and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm behind."
Yeah,
Compare your
I'm
life.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
not
working
doing the
on
things
my
because they're not
third.
taught they're not taught critical reasoning.
critical thinking. That
Mhm.
and that Sonia, you are absolutely right.
It used to be taught in schools. It's not
I think
anymore.
the biggest thing that's
hmm
lacking in American education, besides like books and things like that, is nobody teaches people critical thinking, and they haven't done it in 35 years.
And
and
media literacy.
Right.
and it used to
And
be
that's
that
why,
people.
and that's why people are so easily bamboozled.
Well,
Hmm.
They take in sound bites.
Hmm.
what about civics classes? That because
Oh
it
my
seems like
goodness.
that's lacking too.
That's because,
Yeah.
well, there are civic classes, but those are dictated by the state. The state tells teachers what they can and cannot teach.
You
Right.
know
That's the
what? I
current
want to
fight
tell you.
going on in Florida.
One of the things that I talked about with Otto all the time is we should have federal schools. Every state should have federal schools, and children should be able to choose whether to go to a state school or a federal school. And the federal would be taught your education at the federal level, and not an education taught at the state level. And that they should be basically underwritten by the Department of Defense, so that children who are coming out of these schools, the federal school program, have a leg up, like going into any of the academies after they graduate. And especially children who are going through the foster care system and age out, they should have a place, automatically to go into, to be going to school in the federal school system if they're in the foster care system, so that afterwards they can go straight into the military if they choose to do so, or be able to go into an academy if they choose to do so.
Penelope, you've been talking about some really great ideas, but girl, you talking some serious constitutional amendments here.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
tried. They tried with the what was it? Well, all of those, the government. Here's the standards we want people to teach by,
Yeah,
and everybody lost their stuff.
but there are federal schools already, aren't there?
No,
No,
No.
no.
On
states
military
run.
bases.
Military bases, they have federal schools.
Well, that's different. They're on a military base.
Well,
Yeah.
But they're
Military
not.
base.
military, but we have
But they're not.
military bases all
But they're
over the
not part
country.
of this. Yeah,
But
but
the
they're not part of the state.
military bases are not part of the state. They are federal property.
That's what I'm saying. That we should have federal schools, and children should have the option to go
So in
to
other
federal
words,
school.
you're saying that a child whose parents are not military should be allowed to go to school on the military base.
Absolutely, they should be able to go to
Okay,
federal.
now the
Okay.
Fed can do that without a constitutional amendment, but you got to convince them to do it. You got to convince the
Yeah,
Department of
And
Education to do that.
I think
and
we
you've
should.
got to convince the school boards to
But
let that
we don't
child
need the
go.
school. We don't need the school board.
No, but the school board has to release the money so that the child can go to that school.
No,
No, if the feds are paying for everything,
board.
no,
That's what
they can
federal
cut the
school.
school board out.
Yeah, we don't want them. We just go straight to the feds
Yeah,
and go to federal schools, get a federal education.
yeah.
You know, because
But
we don't.
some of the schools now on the bases are run by the counties, too.
Well, that's a deal that the base
Yeah.
has cut or whoever with the county.
Hmm.
But that does not necessarily have to be the case. Those bases, like the District of Columbia,
Mhm.
is a federal enclave. And unless the feds say, okay, you can come in,
Hmm.
the states and the locals have no power. None.
Exactly. I think that would be a great way for us to get control.
And I think the New York Times did a study and found out that Black and Hispanic um, readership, their literacy, was equal to that of white students in private schools, in the federal schools.
Hmm.
So why not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't hurt.
yeah.
You know what the other deal is too. We talked about Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. People compare their lives, and I think we talked about Father Knows Best and all those shows. That's what people compare their lives to back then. And although it was kind of perverted, it wasn't people living like the Kardashians or anything like that. And I think now, I think it started out, in my opinion, started out with like Frasier, the Frasier
Hmm.
show, where you have people living in a kind of upper middle class existence, and people comparing their lives to that and
Yeah.
seeing that they're coming up short. And
Hmm.
I think people have been feeling that they've been coming up short for a very long time, comparing their lives to the reality shows and the Instagrams and the Facebooks. It's like, what are we comparing our life to?
Right.
That's because they
So
don't know that reality TV isn't real. And
A
that
lot
goes
of
right
people,
back.
yeah,
That goes right back
yeah.
to the media literacy and the rational thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It's edited for a reason because you got to put commercials in
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and you got to keep those sponsors happy.
And I think the other thing people don't understand when they compare themselves to, what they see in the media and they're falling short is that what they're seeing in the media is sponsored.
Mhm.
Somebody is
Yeah.
giving them money.
Yep.
Whether it's a
Right.
TV show, whether it's an Instagram person, whether it's a TikTok person, you know, somebody is giving them money, perks, this, that, and the other. A, you're not getting that. B, one reason why you're not living like they are on TV is because your wages have been stagnated
That's right.
since the 70s.
Wow.
If
And they're
we
just now
if
starting to
people
grow.
if people were being paid what they really should be paid, I mean, the value of their labor,
Mhm.
minimum wage would be like 30 bucks an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the reality is too that there is no way that people who are the uber wealthy that they are now could exist in a system where people are being fairly paid. And
No
Oh
and
way.
here,
no, no,
No way.
yeah.
absolutely not. Well, that was a whole that's been since the 19th century, the
Mhm.
Gilded Age.
Yep.
Finally, Congress, the feds reined them in. But what's happened now? The Sherman Antitrust Act, which was passed in 1912. I mean, that doesn't even have gums.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, you haven't heard, you didn't hear the term billionaires in the 80s, right? It is like
No,
people were
no.
millionaires,
Yeah.
but
Yes, yes.
billionaires is a new actual terminology.
Yeah.
It's common.
If you're not a billionaire, then you ain't nothing. I was writing something, and they said that so the question was, what was your favorite book, blah blah blah, and I said it was The Anubis Gates by Tim Powers, one of my favorite books, The Anubis Gates by Tim Powers, except it's an old book because the villain is a millionaire.
Mm. Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, look
yeah.
at
Just
all
like
look at all these romance books. All the guys are billionaires.
Yeah. This is the
Yeah.
billionaire
F.
this,
Scott
billionaire that. Yeah,
Fitzgerald,
you're right. You're
Yeah.
absolutely
Blake
Back
Aston.
back in the 80s, the 70s or the 80s, whatever. It was really, really rare for someone to be a billionaire.
right. Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, $1 billion.
yeah.
And does anyone actually have $1 billion, or is just somebody said someone's net worth, quote unquote, is a
Well,
billion
it's
dollars?
net worth. I mean, if the stock tanks, they're out of luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, they don't have a
billion
billion
dollars.
dollars in gold, in their basement.
So prove it. It's like, I'm a billionaire. Prove it.
Yeah. Well,
Well, and
Isn't that why?
I guess that's what it's about. I mean, I'm a billionaire. It also depends on, well, if you can show somebody you're a billionaire on paper, then you get credit.
Isn't that what
You
the
can get
state of New
Yeah,
credit
York's
for everything.
doing?
Yeah, no, it's based on a piece of paper.
yep.
Hmm.
yeah.
Isn't that what the state of New York is suing the Cheeto for? Because he
Yes.
falsifying.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Inflating
He
his worth.
brought in the Forbes magazine. Says, "I'm a billionaire. See, Forbes said so." No, that doesn't work.
Right.
I own a mansion and a yacht.
Right, right,
Oh boy,
right.
Lord
So,
have
so
mercy.
in what universe is it that you're a millionaire? You have like $1 million in the bank. I'm not talking about stocks or anything. You got
Mhm.
$1 million in the bank that you can have access to, and you feel
Mhm.
like you're poor.
Because
You feel like
somebody
you're
that's
lacking.
a million.
That's insane, isn't it? That really is insane.
It is.
That you feel poor because you have $1 million. That's so. I don't even know where to begin.
A friend of mine, I mean, this was 30 years ago, but this was when the lotteries, 35 years ago, when the lotteries were first starting up. Not all the states had lotteries.
Mhm.
Actually, Utah still doesn't, but that's a different story.
Mhm.
Um, but then the Mega Millions, they wasn't called Mega Millions then, but that's, when the jackpots really started going up,
I remember.
you know, and I would hear people say, "Oh, I'm not going to play the lottery this week. It's only 7 million." And she looked at me and said, "How jaded we have become when we turn our nose up at $7 million."
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
when
I
I
know.
play. Because
Yeah.
I
So
know
I
I
said,
know.
"Yeah,
nobody else is
you're
going to
right."
play. Nobody else is going to play. Might as well be me.
Well, yeah.
I,
And then
I
somebody
listen.
said, "Well, let's say you win $25 million. The government's going to take half of it." And I'm like,
I did
"So?"
have $25 million yesterday. Like,
Are you a
Well,
more?
still,
exactly.
like,
I
That
have a
means you're a
million.
more.
Okay.
if
That
the
means you're a
government takes
moron.
if the government takes 50% of my $25 million, I still got 12.5 million,
Which I didn't have
Yeah.
yesterday.
and I didn't have
Even if that
yesterday.
was true,
Price of a
even if
dollar,
that was
right?
accurate, even if it was accurate, right? You're a moron, and you let the government take half of your money. You still have 12 million bucks. What are you
That's
Exactly.
talking
it.
about?
But
That's it.
I didn't have it yesterday. You
I
know.
mean,
Exactly.
if I got to share 50% of my winnings with the government, and I still have 12 million bucks, here, Uncle Sam, it's yours.
Yeah. Enjoy
I
it.
mean, remember the Ali fights? We used to get like $5 million a fight, and the U.S.
Mhm.
government used to take like half, and that's oh damn, that's a lot of money. Did I ever stop Ali from fighting?
Well, I'm not
It
fighting.
never. No,
I'm not
that's too
fighting.
much taxes to pay.
Yeah. Uh huh. Nope. He fought and paid taxes, and that's the way it
Oh,
is.
I
I mean, it's
listen. I
amazing.
know people. I know people at work who said they don't want to raise because they don't want to pay more taxes.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Well,
I'll
even
take their
though
money.
inflation now is running at 3%, if they don't want to raise when inflation starts spiking again, they'll want it then
Yep.
Yep.
because they can't afford to eat.
That is insane to me for someone to say, "I don't want a raise because then I'll have to pay," but you're still getting more money. Oh, I don't understand
Yeah.
you. Why are you
No.
crazy?
Yeah, I had to pay more taxes, and then people want me to do more work.
That's what it is. That's what it's the more work part.
Yeah.
That's what it
Okay.
Yeah.
is.
All right,
Yeah.
y'all.
So
That's one.
my other prediction is my hope, along with Sonia's hope, that someone come in and say that we all need to get together and the displaced, the people who need to get together, is that we stop comparing our lives with made up lives of social media.
Yeah, it's hard. I think a lot of people don't talk to other human beings too much. They don't have enough interaction. I guess it's harder once you leave school. I guess in my mind, we go to school, you see people every day, you talk, you interact with them. Um, yeah, I
Or
think
you
it's
you see somebody you went to school with, and they're on Facebook, and they said they have a mansion and a yacht, and you're like, damn, I don't
yeah.
have that either.
I don't have a mansion and or a yacht. Somebody, I can't see who it is. It's online. This is Facebook user. Because unless you're on the StreamYard, it won't say who it is. I know it's Sonia. Uh, uh, on there. So yeah, but uh, yeah. But I think so many people. We're at school. We're in college. We're graduate school, or even if we work somewhere, we interact with people. But the more remote we become, the more quote unquote remote we become. And people don't understand what real life is anymore. We think these things we see on television are real and they're not real because we're used to seeing things through a screen and believe that it's real instead of the stuff that you actually are interacting with. So I think that's another problem that a lot of people don't understand what real is anymore.
uh-oh.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
There's that
Here we
critical
go.
thinking again.
Where here we
Media
go.
literacy.
Here we go with what is it, Cranston's friend, the guy that,
Yeah,
with Perry Mason and
mhm,
Ironside.
yeah.
Yeah.
Repeat
Uh,
it again, Cranston, for those who don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
there's this. He was well, a guy who was born like at either at the beginning of the last century or very late in the one before that. But all of this stuff was kind of new, and I guess it was still televisions were like a magic box, and he thought that everything on television was real, regardless of whatever was happening. So for him, the people on the Enterprise were also alive at the same time as the people on the Ponderosa. It was all the same thing.
wow.
So he
How
had
could how could his brain function like that?
it just, but think about it, it simplified things. You don't have to separate the realities. You just accept it for what it is and everything. Any day James T. Kirk could beam down next to Ben Cartwright, it would make perfect sense. The rest of us could question it. For him, no
Uh-huh.
problem. So
Okay.
watch as actors changed series. So after Perry Mason went off the air, he was under the impression that Raymond Burr, because he knew it was the same person, was Perry Mason. And then he gave up the law and he moved to San Francisco and became a police officer who was wounded in the line of duty,
Uh-huh.
confined to a wheelchair. It was
Ironsides.
Yeah. So
it
there
Yeah,
we
was
go.
a
yeah. Now,
reality.
here's the
He
funny
had no
thing, though. I said the same thing. I made that shit up, man. I did not think anybody thought like that at all. I made
I
it
had
up. I'm just making a joke.
I had an intern who I was watching the musical Into the Woods back when A&E we used to air the Broadway
Mhm.
shows. She thought it was a documentary. She had never figured out, never
Get out of
experienced me.
here.
No,
Uh,
she thought Into the Woods was a documentary because
About what?
TV wouldn't put on anything that wasn't real.
Oh well, I gotta tell you, I stuck with
Breathe, James. Breathe. We can't lose you on air. Breathe.
this happened about 1,000 years ago, but I was watching television. I like I always said, I don't watch TV, but I was
Mhm.
watching television one night, and I came upon this show. I'm like, oh, this is Saturday Night Live, and there was this woman singing and crying, and I'm looking and laughing,
Oh
and
no.
then like
Oh
20 minutes
no.
went by, and I said, this is an awfully long skit. So I got the TV guy. It was the 700 Club.
Jimmy and Tammy Faye?
Tammy Faye was
Tammy
singing and
Faye.
crying.
Yes, it's Tammy Faye. Oh,
That's on
wow.
SNL.
That's hilarious.
Wow. I mean, I can't imagine how
Oh
she
boy.
always got her mascara to run like that. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh man.
Wow.
Oh
Wow.
man, that's good
That's a
stuff.
blast from the past. Tammy Faye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That was a
Never
thing back
occurred
then.
to me that I'd never seen any of these actors on SNL before. Say, oh, maybe they must have a new crew.
Oh wow.
That's good.
Wow.
I like that.
Wow. That's great. That is great.
Yeah,
Media
that is.
Okay,
literacy.
I'll be thinking about that forever and laughing.
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wow. Because I'm looking at our time. We have been here for a while. This has been a wonderful show in review for 2023 and looking forward to 2024, whatever it may bring, right?
Right.
So I guess I'll go around and ask anyone if you have any resolutions or things that you're looking forward to in the next year. And I'm going to say, James, it does not have to be a resolution because I know you don't do them, but a thing that you're looking forward to in the next year.
Okay, my thing is this. I hope that the beginning of the year, I'm listening to a lot of Earth, Wind, and Fire to be positive and everything. Be
Yeah.
positive. And I hope that by the end of the year, I'm still listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire and not the Doors. Because usually when I get depressed and pessimistic,
This is the end.
yeah. Okay.
This is the
This is
or
the end, my
REM.
friend.
This is or REM. This is the end of the world as we know
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Very good. Thank you, James, for that uplifting, depressing.
I will
Uh,
send you videos, James, just to keep you upbeat.
all right. All right. And how about you, Roxanne? What are you looking forward to coming to this next
I
year?
am looking forward to building my author presence.
Absolutely.
I'm exploring various, now that the 9 to 5 is gone, I am finally getting my shit together
All right.
and mapping out avenues and things like that. Things that I can do, like book talk. I'm looking into if my house stopped bankrupting me, I'm looking into hiring an author's assistant to do some of the things that that they can do, and I can get do my
Hmm.
writing and things like that. Um, I don't travel well anymore because of arthritis, so I'm looking into more local venues. I am looking into creating um, women, an author I just met about a month ago. We're kind of figuring out how we can create a BIPOC presence, and not just individual Black author or BIPOC authors.
Hmm.
Like my thought was, like say we're at Balticon, because I'm always at Balticon. It's my home convention. Instead of having a table with my publishing company, her publishing company, whatever, I was thinking of a banner that just says BIPOC DS10 or DS19, and then of course we would have books by many authors, several authors, and not just me, her, and one other person.
Hmm.
And that way we could have a lot of books on the table, a lot of different books on the table.
Right.
Um, and because over the years I've, being in the dealers' rooms, I've been watching, and it seems that the I mean, there is a relationship, thing there, but also the dealers who have like tons of different books on their tables, that's where people stop.
More
So
variety.
that's what I want to create with um Balticon. Baltimore Book Festival is happening again this year. And just various other things. Maybe do some library reading, set up some stuff. But yeah, I'm trying to this is I've been writing for over 20 years, but I always had the day job. And all of my day jobs took up an inordinate amount of my time.
Hmm.
So now that I'm out of that life, this is my time.
All
This is
right.
my time to get it together and make something. And that's what I'm doing. I spent 2023 kind of tiddling about, trying to get it together in my head, but now I've got something to go with.
All
And that's
right.
what I'm doing for 2024.
All right. That sounds fantastic. How about you, Cranston? What's on the menu for 2024?
My main menu for 2024 is to try something different, which is instead of organizing, is right sizing, just letting stuff go and just saying, okay, well, do you really need this? I need to do this, and just kind of streamline things like that.
All right. Sounds great. Sonia?
I got three things. I got to become the CEO of my life
All
and
right.
take control. I met with a business coach a few weeks ago to just drop my Bible because Roxanne was talking to draw up a plan to support BIPOC and LGBTQ plus creatives. There should be no starving artists. There's no reason for any artist to starve in this day and age, and to support them, help them with diversification, with marketing. So I will be talking to Roxanne later so that we can compare plans. And then the third is, now I've got a name for it after this conversation. I'm going to see about starting an online school for the global majority.
All
All
right.
the things that folks aren't being taught, we're going to teach it online and hopefully make lots of money
All right.
in doing it, and for both us and the people taking the courses.
Cool beans. All
All
right.
right.
Right. Otto, how about you? What's the plan, man?
Well, I'm like Cranston. I'm gonna throw a lot of shit out that I don't need. That's number one. Clear stuff out. Number two, I'm like a NBA player. You know, I used to look for my own shot. I feel like I need to
Mhm.
go to the hole and make my own score. But now I want to be a point guard. I want to set other people to make sure they get their shot and make sure they're comfortable in life and take their opportunities and see their opportunities. So I'm changing roles as supposed to be a dominant ball player that looks and scores 30
Mhm.
points a game. I'm looking for 30 assists each game.
All right. All right. This sounds fantastic.
We got one more, folks.
Sure.
We're going to make Sojourner Con a preeminent con that everybody comes to next
Yeah.
year.
Absolutely. I'm so looking forward to it. Yeah, it's like I make that first big
And
team.
if anybody wants to know what Sojourner Con is, go to Facebook, look up the group.
Yeah,
Soon
Sojourner
we'll
Con.
have a
Yeah.
presence on LinkedIn as soon as I can get stuff together.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I've already. Well, we'll talk about it tomorrow. We still.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna move in toward getting our person, our headliner. I put out some feelers, so I'm feeling really positive. But until we get it nailed down, I'm not gonna say anything yet. But yeah,
yeah,
except for tomorrow during the meeting. But this is really great. Yeah, that thing. Yeah, the doing SojournerCon. I hope that is going to be. I know it is going to be a hugely successful, important, growing uh, thing that we're working on to basically celebrate the past, present, and future of travel, real and imagined. To have people come in, speakers, who write about travel, write about uh, places in your stories that are based on travel. For instance, that I might say that I read this book by this author where she has like this horror and adult targeted um, science fiction series where it's in Seattle, but then also off world. So that is a travel based work. That would be something that we would have at SojournerCon for history, his past, present, future, travel, real and imagined. So those are the people that we like to come out and sell, talk about, present at SojournerCon. So that's in this August, this coming August, the 1st through 4th. So, and it's going to be in Galveston, Texas, at the Moody Convention Center. Not too far from the beach, but they have their own, beach, and it's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. But
Do
not
they
too.
have, will there be a video presence?
Yes, yes, we are going to have a video presence as well. Because
Virtual presence, I meant.
yes.
virtual presence, because we know other people, some people may not be able to get there physically, but absolutely. And how can
Okay.
you say you're something to travel and worldwide when you don't have virtual presence? You really
Well,
can't.
yeah, yeah, I guess that would be kind of silly, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you have to have people all over the world that can be able to participate.
Right.
So there we go.
But
Okay.
saying that though, Penelope, you think about the pandemic. It happened in 2020, right? And now we're
Hmm.
going to 2024.
Hmm.
Has anything really changed?
I think it has, because I think to some degree people thought of being online and being remote like this, communicating as something special. Now it's not special. It is the norm now. So that's what I think is different. I truly believe that's
And
different.
it emboldened people were previously saying, "Oh, we can't do that to fit ADA," and then they did it to fit the pandemic. So now they have
Well,
no
if
excuse.
there's anything I think that that 2020 showed us, and that has only grown, is that it opened people's eyes to remote work, in
Hmm.
that I don't have to look in my local paper for a job. I
That's
can work
right.
I can work anywhere in the
In the
world.
world, absolutely.
New term, digital nomad. You
Yeah.
can work
Well,
wherever you want to be at whatever time you want to be.
exactly, exactly. And I can work in a now you still got to deal with time differences, but hey, you
Hmm.
can do that. But I'm in Maryland and my employer is in California,
Right.
and I don't even go there once a year.
I mean, I think it's
Well,
amazing is that,
the
yeah, go ahead. You got to, I know you get ready to say this. Go ahead, Otto. Go ahead.
I got my cynicism. My cynicism will continue through 2024, and
Go ahead.
so it's at 10, but now it's probably going to 11. So I know somebody who came instead of working from home, working from sleep. So basically, while you're sleeping, you're working, and
Yeah, they tap
so
into your brain and have you working from sleep. So while you're sleeping, you're also working, and then you wake up, and then you have to also work. So there
work,
you go. This is the wave of the future. Work from sleep. Our sons
work
are
from
Hey,
learning that.
sleep.
I tell you, hey, not too far fetched in my mind.
Yeah,
As
they if
long
they
as
could do
as
it,
long
they
as
would
the
make
pay is
you.
right.
Yeah. Oh man.
That
Can
little
you
implant,
imagine?
no.
Your brain would be like scrambled eggs. Ugh, that would be
Like
horrible.
Jello.
This is
It'll be
your
Yeah.
like Jello.
this is your brain on overtime.
Oh my God, that would be so horrible. Can you imagine that, man? They get you coming and going. But that's much like your invention, Otto, when you're working at a law firm. That and you have instead of having a chair, your seat would be like one of those, like a what you call it, toilet. You like a
Toilet
toilet you
chair.
sit on,
I
so that
invented
you
that.
never touch chair.
My
So you don't
first
have any
chair
excuse to
as
leave
a
your desk at
yeah,
all during the day,
yeah.
and you leave your
Right.
office, and the partners say, "Where are you going?" "Well, I was gonna go to the
Yeah.
bathroom." "Oh no, you don't. Go back to your office.
Get back in
You
your
have a
office.
toilet chair."
That's right. I
No,
invented that. I invented that many
no,
years ago.
no, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
yeah. That's what he said. Yeah, let's have the toilet chair. So you don't have any reason to leave your chair
That's right. The
in
smell
the
is not
day at
great, but the
all.
work is always done. The work is
That's
always
right.
done.
That's right. The work is always done.
Well, let me
And
ask you this, Otto. Does that toilet chair flush?
yes, yes, it must flush also. But
Okay,
Sometimes,
good.
remember, it's in your
or
Otherwise, we're
you
gonna
can
be
have
office, so
in a
your
you
world of
sit
hurt.
there. You sit
well,
there
And
you
is
can
all
it
have your
day.
paralegal.
soundproofed? Is it
You can have your
soundproof?
paralegal or legal
Ah,
assistant come and change. You can
it
have your
better
legal assistants come and
Your
change.
legal assistant come and change
Yeah,
it out for you. Yeah, there
it
you go.
yeah.
better flush or the shit is gonna hit the fan.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
there we go.
beautiful.
Now,
There
but
we go.
Uh, I
There
love
we
that.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Oh
but
want
my
it
that's his
god.
invention.
soundproofed.
Yeah, it needs to be
Oh yeah,
soundproof.
yeah, gotta have that too.
Yeah, that needs to happen.
Hey
Yeah.
guys, this Cornelia Elmore, that's my great great grandmother. In Atmore, Alabama. This is the library. This is just the dedication thing. The library is going to be
Oh,
built
okay.
behind it.
Oh, cool.
But she founded the first library for Black people in Atmore. It was
Wow.
the
Oh,
second
Wow.
floor of a two-story office building, and then it grew into its own building, and so on and so forth. So
wow.
Where's
That's
where?
she was my
Where's
great
fantastic.
this
great
at?
grandma. I never
It's
met her,
Where is
of
Alabama?
this?
course. Hmm?
Alabama?
Alabama, yeah, Atmore. It's
What city? Where?
Atmore.
That's the
Atmore.
name
That's
of
the
the city.
city. That's the town, Atmore. It's about I don't know, maybe 40 miles, 50 miles from Pensacola.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
We know
Wow.
Pensacola.
Yeah,
That's one of
Yeah,
our stomping grounds.
that's pretty cool.
yeah.
I don't know if y'all see, but in the chat, Thaddeus House has said the future is unknown and unwritten. We can take risks because we have begun to accept the challenges of a world changing beneath our feet. Dare to believe. All right. Yeah. Yeah, and on that, you all, I would say that let's look for. We're gonna see you all New Year's Eve, but you'll have a wonderful New Year's Eve and the beginning of a great new year, productive, uh, restful New Year. Just enjoy yourselves. We'll see you all again next
Happy
week
New
here in the
Year.
other hood. Take care of yourselves. Happy New
Okay.
Year.
Happy New
Happy
All
New
right.
Year.
Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.